Hey there, it's Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video that is a little bit different, and I'm going to be honest, I'm incredibly nervous about it because I've worked pretty hard on this, and I don't know, I'm having weird thoughts about throwing something into the universe that I have created, so I don't know. If you guys would like to leave me a nice comment or like a thumbs up on this video, then that would be great, and it would really help me feel a lot better about like putting this out here. But yes, let's talk about what this video actually is. You may have noticed that this is not books. And the reason for its existence and appearance in this video is that I have decided to create a TBR game for myself. Well, I say it's a TBR game, but it's more like a TBR challenge. I was kind of finding myself in a little bit of a slump in terms of my reading patterns. Everything was very much focused on monthly reading and monthly TBRs. And before you know it, the year's done and time has gone by, and that's a year. Don't like that. And it was very segmented. So what I wanted to do for myself is to create a TBR quest that is not based on monthly reading. It's all about completing challenges at your own pace, and then you only move on to the next bit of the challenge when you've completed the first bit. And you know, there's no pressure. No pressure is what we like. So as you can see, there is an island, and I think I would like to explain about the setting of this quest that I've set for myself a little bit before I go into like the ins and outs of how it actually relates to what I'm going to be reading and how I'm going to be reading. But before I start that, I do just want to say that I had some inspiration from Mel from Book Fiend named Mel and her TBR campaign, as well as G from Book Roast and the Magical Readathon. I just really enjoy things where you move around a map and you have to do things to move around the map. So yeah, I'll link to both of their channels down in the description below. I definitely check them out because they look like so much fun. Also, one last thing before I get into the setting, please nobody come at me for the names that I used for these different places on this island. I definitely put them into a fantasy name generator because I didn't want to get too bogged down in the details. So anyway, let's talk about my challenge. I play as a character who lives on the small island of Starborn in the farming town of Wildergrove. The island is home to a number of unique towns and cities, but no attraction is more intriguing and mysterious than the secretive Starkeep Library at the top of the Shimmerfall Mountains. And my character has recently received the following letter from their friend. My dear friend, it has been far too long since last you stayed at our great library. You are always welcome at Starkeep, though I wonder if I can prevail upon you a task to undertake on your journey to us. I am compiling a manuscript that includes pages gathered from across the island. I would be most grateful if, on your way to Shimmerfall, you could collect an extract from each of the following: Gregor Lampid in Westwatch, Veronica Rister in Everhood, Connor Helens in Mistgard, Ash Viga from Hazelvale, and Hugo Bitterwell in Dawnshell. Starkeep's entry requirements remain the same, though I'm sure you will pass through with no issues. Travel safe. Your friend, Serena. So after receiving this letter, my character must journey towards the Starkeep Library, collecting pieces of a manuscript along the way. So that is the concept of the quest, and we are essentially going to be travelling from here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, and then all the way up to the mountain. So it's like a little wiggly waggly spiral. So now you might be asking how that actually relates to the reading that I'm going to be doing. And I've created a sort of mixed set of challenges so that I can either choose to challenge myself or, you know, not, depending on how I'm feeling. There are some challenges that do have to be completed before you can move on to a new location, and like different challenges can be unlocked. And there are others that are definitely optional. So first let me tell you how I'm planning to move around this map. Oh, no. Oops. Sorry about that, my camera just ran out of battery. If anything moved, then oopsie daisy. Distances between locations are recorded in steps. Each page read is a step taken, and a new location can only be accessed once the correct number of steps has been taken / pages have been read. So if there are, for instance, 6,000 steps between two locations, then I have to read 6,000 pages. The distance between these locations is sort of set in a way that will challenge me, but is also achievable. I like that it can be altered at any point in time, so if my reading isn't going great, then I can just maybe tone it down, or just keep it at the same distance and it just takes longer. And because this isn't a yearly challenge, then it kind of doesn't matter. So now let's talk about like actual challenges that will tailor my reading a little bit. Each town, aside from my hometown, has a manuscript challenge. And the challenges for that are to read a certain genre of book based on the character. So for instance, in Westwatch with Gregor Lampid, we would have to read a mystery or thriller book because it's a dark and stormy place. For Veronica Rister in Everford, we would have to read a dystopian or apocalyptic book. Not for really any reason. She just likes those. For Connor Helens in Mistgard, which is the city down here, we have to read a sci-fi book because that is the technological hub for the island. For Ashvega in Hazelvale, which is this bit here, mostly hidden by trees, I have to read a fantasy or urban fantasy book. And going all the way to Dawnshell, we have to read a romance or a contemporary book, and that's because that is like a beach town, and you know, everybody goes there for a fun time, very relaxing, so like read a beach read sort of thing. Now if you remember the letter, there is also an entry requirement to gain access to the Starkeep library, and that is to read a trilogy, because there are 3 different gates that you have to go through. You have to read the first book, the second book, and the third book to gain access. Now there are a couple more compulsory challenges for each location, and I'll just go through those now. And these challenges are based on supplies that you would need to move to the next town. So if you're going to a town that is particularly rain shrouded, then you might need a raincoat. But you always need food and water, so those challenges are repeated. And I've chosen to allocate reading challenges that are things that I particularly want to target in this year for food and water, because you always need those. So in my hometown, I will need to gather the supplies: food, water, a travel pack, and walking boots, because we're going to be crossing from here all the way down to here. Then from Westwatch to Everford, we need food, water, a raincoat, a waterproof tent, and a cloak. Travelling from Everford to Mistgard, we need food, water, and walking sticks. You know, like the ones that just help you power through when you're hiking? Those. Then from Mistgard to Hazelvale, we need food, water, a machete, and insect nets, because it's very overgrown. There's lots of trees. Then from Hazelvale to Dawnshell, which you go up here, then we would need food, water, sun cream, sunglasses, and a cap. Then from Dawnshell all the way up to the Shimfall Mountains, we would need food, water, a climbing rope, climbing gear, and a torch. There is a path, but think a little bit like Cirith Ungol from Lord of the Rings. Like, it's not a path that you really want to go up unless you're really determined. And then at Shimmerfall, we just need some food and water because it's been a long climb! So there are different challenges. The food challenge is to continue on with the series, and the water challenge is to read a book from your own TBR. The other challenges are random ones that I thought up, and I'll talk about those in the time where I do the TBR for that location. Each town does have a landmark, which is like an optional place that you can visit, and to visit it you have to read a certain challenge. And again, they are just randomly selected challenges that I made for myself. Now lastly, each town or city has a notice board where they have posted a number of challenges that are just completely optional reading challenges. I've allocated a different number in each place depending on the distance to the next place, because I thought, oh well, it'll give me more to focus on to read those pages. So while there is a shorter distance, like here to here, there are only 4 notice board challenges, but when you're going from here to here, there are 8. Now the way I'm going to pick these challenges is that I created a really big list for myself. I'm going to assign numbers to them, and I'm going to pick them randomly. So I don't know what challenges are going to pop up in each place for this one, and I feel like that could add a little bit of uncertainty to my reading, which could be fun. So that is my TBR challenge. This video is mainly so that I can direct people here, so that I don't have to explain the entire concept of the challenge every time that I'm doing it, and I hope this does give you more information. If you do want even more information, then I am fully willing to create like a document with all of my challenges, all of the sort of instructions that I've created for myself. I don't know if anybody would want to see that, then let me know. If not, I'm gonna really enjoy playing this little Starborn quest that I've made for myself, and hopefully it'll add something different to my reading. So if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!